5.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Hey, Kara. Hey, Al Marie. So glad you could make it.
Hello.
Good to see you, ladies. We have one more minute
Hi.
before we get the party started.
Puerto Rico's in the house. All right, I'm loving it.
Oh,
Hi, Emilio. Hi there. Hi.
And the biggest partier is here.
yeah.
There you go.
Mhm.
I'm loving that sweater you got on there, girlfriend.
Well, I'm trying to match the color scheme.
There you go. Right there with you. Right there with you. Okay, I have the link pulled open. Not seeing on my end yet, so just want to make sure. All right, we're getting warmed up. How's everyone feeling today? You guys ready?
I'm free.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been stoked for a while. I've been stoked for
Okay,
all
It
month
took
long.
everything
Let's
in
go.
me to not open the box up from the bottom to just take a little sneak peek.
That's great. That's great.
I'm
Oh.
like Emilio and Daniela. I am always ready because with that couple, you never know what's going to happen.
I hear that.
True.
Well, it is 12 o'clock. We still have our authors coming in. So John, Giselle, let me know. Are we
I think he's working some technical stuff out. So what's really funny is I also got the same note on my box, but I know what the book looks like. So I still didn't open it though. I didn't open it because I'm obedient.
Did you like my comment that mom and dad are so mean with that note that we couldn't open it?
That was not my doing. That was not my doing.
Oh, so it's all dad.
I'm
When
Yeah.
in doubt, blame it on dad, right?
Yes, when in doubt, yes. It's always his fault.
Yes, definitely. All
Chris,
right.
can I remove your Chris is on.
Okay.
Christopher is on. Can I remove your note taker? Is that okay?
Yes, please. I'm sorry. I
No.
keep telling it not to join stuff and it just keeps joining.
No, it's okay. It's my bad because I only looked at the Christopher and I was like, oh, he's here. And then I realized it's your note taker. So I was like, oh.
Yeah,
No.
those note takers stalk you.
Yes,
They
they do.
Ah,
They do.
Is that Captain America joining us? What is that?
it is.
Captain America?
Captain America.
Captain America.
What's up, Amelia? How you doing?
All right, we got Stacy coming in. Stacy, it's so good to see everyone. Glad you all can make it. We are working through just a couple technical, not I want to say challenges. We a little hiccup, but we're getting it together. So let's go ahead and get ourselves together. Let us know in the chat where you're dialing in from today, what you're looking forward to. How are we feeling?
Yes, we are
And
on.
we're on and live. Okay. Okay. Well, we can go ahead and get this party started. All right. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure I'm on too because I want to engage with the chat. So let me get in there. I don't know. Okay. Mine is still saying waiting. So we'll see. Maybe it'll kick in soon on my end. How's everyone doing today?
Wonderful.
How
Amazing.
Yes, yes. Today is the big day. We have finally made it. I don't know about you guys, but I am so excited for this day. I feel like it's been a long time coming, and now that we're finally here, it's like, okay, let's go. So I want to go ahead and welcome everyone to coming to the Life's Checkmark virtual book launch. Okay, this is such an exciting day. I'm so glad that you all are supposed to be here. And before we really get into things, I have to set the tone with a little prayer. Is that all right?
That's fine with me.
All
Yes,
right.
please.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and lead us in prayer. Dear Father God, thank you for this moment. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Thank you for blessing us the way you have. And thank you for loving us, Father. Today is a special moment, Lord, because we've all done something courageous, Lord. We're sharing our stories with those who need to hear them, Father. I pray and ask, Father, that every story that is in this book blesses someone, touches their heart, and reminds them that there's a reason for purpose, life, health. Give them the courage to persevere through any challenges they're going through, Father God. and allow us to just continue to be a blessing to those that pick this book up and to those that we come in contact with. Father, I'm thankful for each and every person on this call right now, because what we did was not an easy task, Lord, but we did it to honor you and we did it to serve others. So, Lord, as we get ready to celebrate this amazing achievement for us, we pray and ask that you be here with us, that you cover us, Father, that you continue to guide us, Lord, and continue to create and mold us into who it is that you have called us to be. We love you, Father, and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Amen. Amen.
Right, all right. So let's go ahead and get into this. First of all, I want to say hello to everyone, give you all a warm, warm greeting. If you don't know me, which I'm sure most of my authors do, I am your host for today, Brittany Russell, and it is such a pleasure to be here with you guys. Whether you're joining us on YouTube, whether you're sitting here watching us at home, or supporting one of your authors, we just want to simply thank you for showing up today. We want to thank you, because we believe that today is going to be full of power, courage, resilience, and excitement. Because, see, here's what's special about this. This is not just your ordinary book launch. This is not your ordinary book launch, y'all. Okay, this is about celebrating our courage. It's about honoring our stories, our journey, the impact that we've made. And I just want to say, on behalf of John, thank you to each of you who decided to say yes to this, because we've put together a masterpiece and there's power in this masterpiece. So thank you for being willing to share your story. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for not giving up. And thank you for that creativity that you put on those pages. But before we truly dive into things, I just want to take a moment to bring the man behind this whole thing up, because I feel like it's important for him to let us know, what's the purpose behind this anthology, right? We don't do anything for no reason. There's always a purpose behind it. And then I want to also ask him, for those who've never heard, can you explain what life's checkmark means? So John Emery, please come on up and let us know. John, what made you decide to do this?
Let me first start off. Thank you, Brittany, for doing the prayer and for being the MC for this. You're doing great. So the purpose for the anthology. First of all, you all been on the podcast. You all shared something of your journey on the podcast, whether we went down a rabbit hole or we dove into a whole bunch of your journey. So I always wanted to figure out how we can get the guests together, right? And so the anthology was created. And so you guys were able to share something even deeper than what was said on the podcast. And that's what allowed the anthology to be created. We went global with being Greece and the UK, and Sean's from Canada, right? Now Marie's from Puerto Rico, and everybody else is in the US as far as I know. And so that's been a blessing. It's been a great way to see people come together, share their journeys. And again, so for Life's Checkmark, it's all about people sharing their journeys so that others can hear it, watch it, so they know they're not alone and they can get through whatever they're going through. So they can reach out to you guys as the guest, to me as the host, or somebody else they might know, and hopefully they can make a change in their life, because we all get in those dark moments and we feel like we're alone, because I was there too. And I don't want that to happen to everybody. So we are starting something new. This is just the beginning of something so much greater. I have a plan, but I think God's got a bigger plan. And so we'll just see where that goes. But that is why Life Checkmark was created. And essentially it's also, we tend to live out our lives as others, right? And it's not on purpose sometimes, it's just how things just happen. So for me, the Life's Checkmark is about you creating your own life, be who you're supposed to be, your authentic self, and just see where that takes you. Because I believe that's how we live so much better, when we find peace and happiness, just doing what we love and just being ourselves.
Well said. Can we give John a round of applause for that? Because if it weren't for him, we wouldn't be here right now doing this.
For
Thank
sure.
you, John. That was so well done. So I want to just set the tone for today. Now, I feed off of everyone's energy and our authors feed off of everyone's energy. So I want everyone to be interactive today. If you feel like there's someone that needs to be inspired, that needs to hear a good word, send the link out, y'all. Share it. Make sure your family, your friends, your community, they're tagging in, because we want to show people, we want to show our author support, but there may be someone else who needs the support as well. And then also, if you haven't had the opportunity, please make sure that you download the ebook. We have the ebook going right now for 99 cents. You cannot beat that. That is a deal. So make sure that you're downloading it, share it with friends, your church community, whoever it is, because I truly believe that we are in a season where people need inspiration. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. People need an inspiration. They need encouragement. They need a word, and they need to hear our stories. So before we get into things, I just want to ask you guys one quick question. Okay, one quick question. Has your life ever taken a path you didn't expect? And if it has, please drop a yes in the chat. I just need to see what's going on. I can't be the only one. My life is always taking an unexpected path, and yet still here I am. Okay, yes, 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 the chat, I see it. I see it. Yes, okay, I'm not alone. That is a reminder, y'all, that life is not always going to go as expected. We're all in this together. We all go off path sometimes, but look at us. We find our way. So, thank you so much for interacting. We have someone special getting ready to come up because this person has set the tone for the entire book. And John, I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce this person. It is our forward author, Mr. Emilio. So, John, I'm going to pass it off to you. You got it.
Sure. So let me just introduce you how I met Emilio. So Emilio contacted me. He's like, "Hey, I want to start a podcast. I see that you're the guy, right? Whatever was in the group or Facebook, wherever that was." So we talked and started to get something going. And then he's like, "Hey, what's your biggest risk?" Because he's got the book called Born to Risk. So he asked if I wanted to be a co-author in his book. And like most of you, you guys took the opportunity and said yes to something you never did before. And I said that would have been my second one. And I said yes to it, not knowing it would become something so much bigger like this. Uh, the book laid out the platform and the design in a sense for how I could see something like this become available. I was able to meet Emilio and Daniela about a little over a year now in person before I was going to another event. And we had a conversation at a coffee shop, and it was heartfelt, and we were able to pray and everything like that, and got to know each other at a deeper level for the time we were together. And ever since then, the relationship has grown. Been to some events together, seen him at other events that we just ran into each other, and he's been nothing but a backbone, not just for this, but for everything else, pushing me forward to keep moving forward with everything I'm doing. So that's how I met Emilio. That's how the book I kind of saw things become to develop for a way I can share and get something with my guests to come on. And I would love to have Emilio come on, share a little bit about, you know, what's behind on his forward, why he shared what he shared in there, and encouragement for readers and stuff like that within the book. So thank you, Emilio. Thank you for being the forward and for sharing everything you shared in the forward that you wrote.
Thank you, John. Thank you for that introduction. Thank you, Brittany. John, you said something here about how we met. You met Daniela and I in a season of our lives at that coffee shop where we were going through something. Talk about a path. We were going through the mold situation where we lost over 90% of our personal belonging. So I would love to say that when you met us, everything was great and blessed. But God did take us through that season. And when we sat down in that coffee shop, I remember how cold it was. I remember giving you a big embrace and saying, "Hey, my Facebook friends are real," right? So we had that moment of embrace. And I got to really, truly get to know you. And it was just so humbling. And I share this with those that are part of our community. If you don't know John, John has this presence about him where he's fully engaged with you. Unlike myself, unlike me, I can be in a conversation and I'm like having 3 conversations, right? John is with you there. In fact, there's a saying, a quote from Walt Whitman, that we convince by our presence. And John is that guy. Like there's no one else in front of you but him. And I remember Danielle and I talking and sharing with him about the struggles that we were going through. In fact, Giselle, shout out to Giselle, she came to our home because we had to throw away a lot of our stuff because of the mold infestation. And yet here John came, he's sharing his story. And to wrap this up here, when he was talking about the podcast, and I knew he was the man, he was a go-to man because he was helping so many others. I got to find out why he really does the podcast. And I need you to lean into this because there's a lot of people doing podcasts. We agree? A lot of people, and they're very good at it. But the difference between John and everyone else, a podcast saved his life. And I could not gloss over that. And so when he shared what he was going through and why he started it, I was like, wow. Like, I've never heard of a podcast saving someone's life, right? You think you can just listen to a podcast while you're working out, driving. But the fact that he was adamant about that and that now he's helping others, I was like, wow, that's kind of in alignment with what we do. We help people write and share their stories because everyone's story is important. And so that's really how our relationship began. And of course, I charge for what I do. John charges for what he does. We all do, right? And so, but I really took John's message to heart. And I can't just share this without at least involving my wife here for a second, because we both walked away from that conversation with John feeling that there was something special about John. And so that's why I do what we do with John, and we love him, and we're going to continue to support and be in each other's corner. Danielle?
Yeah, I mean, I piggyback off everything he said, and John is just such a humble person, and he doesn't really glorify what he does or how great he is at what he does. That's why he has Giselle now. And so, yeah, Jonathan, like from the first day, I just knew there was something special about you. I liked your personality, and we knew we would be, staying connected, and now your family. And just so proud of you. Like I shared with you earlier, we're so proud of the growth that we've seen with you, and that big smile on your face now. That's just like the cherry on top. So
I think the smiles from Giselle. The smiles from Giselle. The book is again so in closing, I'm honored to do the forward. Every single word in there comes from the heart. We've done, my wife and I combined, we've done over 15 forwards for other books, but this forward, this was truly special because of the man behind the mission. So thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you both. I appreciate it very much.
Can we drop some love in the chat for Emilio and his contribution to the forward? Emilio, thank you so, so much. If there was something that stood out to you that Emilio said, drop it in the chat. Just that one word that he said. The one thing that I heard was alignment. And we are in a season where alignment is so, so present. It's important. And I don't know about y'all, but I feel like just being in this book, it was confirmation that I'm in alignment, and I'm sure that you guys would agree that you are too. So thank you, Emilio, for that. We're so glad for what you did. And we're getting ready to transition into the most exciting part of this call. Y'all, does everyone have their books ready? Do we have our boxes ready? Not your books. Do you have your box? Let me see the boxes. Where's your box? Where's your box?
That was a trick question.
Did anybody open their box? That would be.
I wanted to see what you guys were going to say. If someone held the book up, that was going to tell us all we needed to know. If you have your boxes ready, I want you to go ahead and get them close to you, because this is the beautiful, special moment of this entire launch. We have been waiting patiently. People, everyone who's watching, you don't know this, but when we got our books in the mail, there was a huge note that told us that we couldn't open them until June 6th. So for weeks, for days, we've been sitting there watching our boxes just look straight at us, knowing that there is magic and power waiting within them. So I want to make sure we all got our boxes. Okay, now audience, I want you to know, those who are tuning in from YouTube, this is a special moment. Make sure you got your phones out because we need screenshots, okay? I don't think you realize what's getting ready to happen here. We have some people who have never been authors before, who have never written in a book. This is their first time doing it. So don't be surprised if there's some emotion that comes with this, okay? This is special. This is powerful. And authors, when I give you guys a signal, that's when I want you to go ahead and make sure that you are opening up your box. So I'm going to do a little countdown. Is 5 okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is that we're
Yeah.
good with? Okay, just making sure.
Do it.
All righty, guys. Okay, on the count of 5. On the count of 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's open those boxes.
While you guys are opening, I'm going to read off the authors and the chapters. So we have Brian Arbor at chapter 1, and the title, The Day Everyone Lived Was Also the Day I Died. We have Annie Eza at chapter 2, The Miracle That Taught Me to Expect Miracles. Brittany Russell at chapter 3, Survival Was No Longer Enough. Kara Marino, chapter 4, Soul Suspension. And Tara Gush, chapter 5, The Miracle at 40, Built for Shift. Al Marie Fernandez, chapter 6, What We Still Get Wrong About Autoimmunity. Paige Brown, chapter 7, When the Check Marks Weren't Enough. There we go. We got them opened up already. Man, I got to go a little quicker, I guess. Giselle Catania at chapter 8, God's Plan Beyond My Check Marks. Debbie Simmons, chapter 9, Focus on Today. Christopher J. Wesley, chapter 10, The One Who Wields the Pen. Open up the book, guys. Go to your chapters. Check out that QR code if you got your phone available. Stacy Jones, chapter 11, The Return. Daniela Roman, chapter 12, Sobering Grief. Gordon Burdecki, chapter 13, Confidence is Built, Not Born. Tish McDaniel, chapter 14, I Choose to Live. Lindsay Still, chapter 15, The Night I Lived From Brokenness to Becoming. Cassidy Cloth, chapter 16, Becoming My Own Safe Place. Sean Robinson, chapter 17, Staying on the Path. Penny Hopkinson, chapter 18, The Heart Behind the System. Andrew Lidman, chapter 19, Recovery Begins Within. And chapter 20, Dr. Stephanie Johnson, The Experience That Shaped My Purpose. Everybody find their chapter. Check out, if you want, scan the QR code, raise the books up. Awesome. Thank you all for hanging in there for so long to wait till you open it up. I appreciate that.
I got pictures.
Yes. Yes. All right. So I want to say this real quick. Can I bring up 2 authors just to describe how they're feeling right now holding their book? Who wants to come up? Just briefly let us know what it felt like to hold this book in your hand. And just jump on. You don't have to raise your hand.
Amazing. It's a good way to put it. Like, I've been stoked about this like for over a month, so yeah, it's amazing to finally see it and hold it like physically in my hands, like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's amazing. Blessed to be a part of it for sure.
Yes.
I just feel like this is everything I've been working for, It's so exciting.
Yes. Yes. The real-time response is everything. I just felt a sense of emotion just come over me as I looked at my chapter, like, oh my God, I really did it. Woo, woo, the tears. Y'all know I'm a crier, so don't get me started.
Brittany, for me, the honor of having a niece and a great niece in the same book with me. Wow.
It's legacy, Tish. That's what you're building. Legacy.
Yeah, yes. And the great niece is a first-time co-author.
Yes, congratulations. Congratulations. Yes, how many of you, this is your first time, writing in a book? Me too. Okay. Exciting. So now we can add author to our titles. We did it.
Yes.
I think though, I mean, for me, even though I've co-authored before, written my own books, uh, I think being part of this particular project, it still holds something special. Uh, I mean, in this book, it's not my origin story. It is the decision that made the origin story relevant. And I think for each of us, we chose a moment in our life that will speak to somebody out in the world in a very special way. So to be part of something that's bringing this kind of light in the world it's special, irregardless of anything that's come before.
Mm. Oh, I felt those words, Christopher. Well said. And that definitely resonated with me. So thank you for sharing that. You know, now that we've had the opportunity to unbox our books, we have them in our hands, we see what it feels like, we've seen our chapters. I think this would be a perfect segue for us to get into allowing each of our authors just to come up and share their biggest takeaway from their chapter. Because that will really set the tone and give us, it's like a little appetizer before you have your full course meal. Just give us a little taste of what we can expect when we open up and read your story. So if you're ready for that, I need you to drop ready in the chat. If you're ready to hear from our authors, please drop ready in the chat so we can make them feel warm and welcome. Because guess what? You're in for a treat. You get to hear from all of them, okay? And I don't know what book launch they do that. So make sure you got you a little water and a time to stretch. But we are going to get started with our first author, chapter 1. It's Brian Arbor. And Brian, remember, we're going to give you 3 minutes to share your biggest takeaway from your chapter. So, Brian, come on up. We got Brian here? Making sure. Hold on. Up. No,
Brian is not.
no, I don't see him.
We don't have Brian here. That's okay. He is with us in spirit. And so yeah, and please do check out Brian's story and his podcast. Brian's chapter, The Day Everyone Lived Was Also the Day I Died. And sometimes death is not just physical. And so being a military vet, this is a very special, special story that he has. So make sure you check him out.
Yes, please.
Next
And
up.
Brian, we thank you, Brian, for your contribution. We look forward to hearing from you. But we do have our chapter 2 author, which is Annie Iza. So, Annie, I want you to come on up and just share your biggest takeaway. You'll have 3 minutes, and we're excited to hear from you. Thank you for being here with us today.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Joan. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Giselle. Well, my biggest takeaway started the day I met with Joan to record the podcast episode. This is when this story, which is about the beginning of my life, was unburied and it was brought back to the surface. And I remembered how my life literally began with a miracle. And this is actually why I have normalized miracles since then. So I built the bridge back to what was crucial for my life perspective since I was a child. And this is why I have developed a theory which I call miraculous realism, because I believe miracles are super realistic. We all deserve them, and we can all create them if we are receptive enough to get ourselves out of our own way and let life do its own thing.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Miracles. I don't know about y'all, but I'm in a season where I'm in need of a miracle. And just based on what I heard Annie say, miracles are possible if you believe it and you manifest it. So, Annie, we are looking forward to reading your chapter on miracles and learning more about your words and your experience. And just thank you for sharing that with us today. You know, what's interesting is The next chapter is someone I know very well, and I'm not going to introduce her because I think I want to let somebody else introduce her.
I
But
think so. I think you should let someone else introduce
why
this
not?
amazing woman. And you know what? I'm going to take it upon myself because I love her so much. And so, coming in at chapter 3, we have the one, the only MC extraordinaire, Brittany Russell, with Survival Was No Longer Enough. Share with us more on chapter 3.
Yeah, so let me give my 3-minute time. First of all, y'all, I just have to say thank you, John, because this is how it started. A year ago, I got laid off from my job, and I knew that that was my journey to like go and start sharing my story, but I was scared. Let me say that. And so I met John. John had this podcast, and he was like, "Hey, did you want to be on my podcast?" And I'm like, I guess, yeah. Let me go ahead and say yes, because I can't say no, right? Can't say no. You got to say yes. We're taking a leap of faith. We're saying yes. And I appeared on that podcast, y'all, and I shared my story for the first time publicly. I shared things that were very difficult, but the feeling that I felt after that was freedom. I felt free. It was like a weight, because in this chapter, I talk about my experience going through burnout when I was almost this close to giving up on life. You see, a lot of people look at someone like me and they think, oh, she's got it together. Look at her. She's emceeing events. She's doing this. She has this personality. But just a few years ago, I was going through 2 rounds of burnout, suicide ideation, depression, and anxiety. And I wasn't sure how I was going to make it through. And my chapter talks about the journey of how I actually made it through. I'm not going to give you all of that because I want you to read it. But I'll say this. I want to honor those who are not here with us, who couldn't see a path forward, who wanted to give up on life. The reason why I say that is because if I had given up, I wouldn't be here with you guys. I wouldn't have written this chapter. I wouldn't have shared my story. So thank you, John, for the opportunity. A year ago, I never would have thought I would have been an author. And that's just a reminder that there are opportunities, there's goodness, there are miracles, there are blessings, there's hope on the other side of the challenges that we face every day. So if I want to say one thing, don't give up. There's goodness on the other side, honey. I don't look this good for no reason, okay? I have been through hell and back, and I'm still here. And I hope that I'm a reminder that if I could get through it, you can too. That's all I got to say. Thank you, sis, for that introduction. So enough about me, y'all. Enough about me. Thank you for that. I want to get into our chapter 4 author, Kara Marino. Kara, please come up and let us know, what do our readers have to look forward to when they read your chapter?
Hello, everybody. First off, Brittany, you're making it really hard to hold emotions together after your speech there. I have so many emotions going on right now. Like there's part of my brain that's like, this is a joke. There's no way this is real. There's no way you're an author. Like, what are you talking about? You're just like some little lowly healthcare worker. But it's like, here I am, and that's because of meeting John, and it's such a wild experience to where I was a couple years ago, and then being in this book. So unlike a lot of people, actually, my chapter, the biggest takeaway is I talk about something I've never talked about, including in John's podcast, really, and it is kind of my origin story. There was a 50-50 shot of me surviving a situation, because, it's back in the 90s, surgeries, all that things you never knew back then. Healthcare was not as advanced as it was. So it's really wild to be here. I will be 32 this year. So it's really crazy to be here when there was a high chance I wouldn't be here. And that's really all I'm going to give the readers, because that's been such a proponent, that moment in my life, to drive me into healthcare, into wanting to be a person that someone can lean on. And then because of my healthcare journey, which you learn about in John's podcast, that was a big proponent into why I became a holistic clinicianer. So that's really all I want to give, because otherwise I'll be giving way too much detail into it. But it's amazing to be here. It's amazing to be a part of this community, this family now. And as you can hear, I'm trying so hard not to cry. I just hope that I have someone that can't be here anymore because he was killed in a car accident yesterday. So all I can say is I hope he's looking down and he's really freaking proud of me from seeing this through, because he was one of my people to tell me, like, you should go through with this. So thank you, John. Thank you for seeing me, and thank you for believing in me, being a huge proponent in this amazing experience that you've created, and Emilio and Giselle and all of you guys.
Kara, can we show Kara some love right now? Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. You touched my heart. You talking about what I did. You touched my heart, and I know you touched the hearts of others. And on behalf of the group, we send our condolences to you right now. Warm hugs, love, and support. Thank you for that. All right, up next, our Chapter 5 author, Targush. Please come on up and let us know, what can our readers expect when they read your chapter?
Ooh, all right. I'm like, how do I come on here and not just start crying? I have a lot of emotions. I'm like way more emotional than I thought it would be. So I think that's my takeaway. I'm way more emotional than I thought it would be. So thank you. I think that my biggest takeaway is that sharing our story and community and connection, and understanding that everybody's going through the same thing. There's been a lot going on in my life behind the scenes. So I want to thank Andrew. Part of what I shared in the chapter continues to go on. And so the last couple of weeks have been really, really, really difficult. And it's really difficult for me to share, because I think I resonate with Brittany. I am the person who has it together all the time. So from the outside looking in, the things that are going on would be really difficult to understand. And so what I have found in sharing the chapter and sharing my story and talking to people a little bit more openly in the last couple of weeks about things, it is this idea that, I teach nervous system regulation, I teach breath work, I teach meditation. And what I have found is that there is more nervous system regulation in community and connection than any tool or resource that we can integrate into our lives. So my biggest takeaway is, holy crud, I just bawled my eyes out on a video. And you don't have to have it all together. I think that is what I would like other people to know as well. You don't have to have it all together. And the more that you're able to share what is going on in your world, the more connection you take with others. And something else that Brittany shared was this idea of putting this out there and being able to talk is like, it feels like freedom. It feels like the biggest exhale you can take. In the midst of everything that is going on, I have 9 people that are trusting me in Colorado in 2 weeks to be at a retreat in the mountains. And so I find, like, in the depths of everything, sometimes we find like the most immense growth. And so my chapter really is about being in my 40s. I'm on the tail end of my 40s at 49. And it just, the last 9 years in this decade of existence has been the most expansive and shifting. So thank you all.
Brittany.
Ooh, wow. Come on, rookie. Okay, anyways, I got it. I just want to, first of all, honor Tara and say, this is a safe space. The tears are expected. I don't know if you know me, but I cry often when I'm on these types of calls because this is emotional. What we've been through has been emotional. What we're going through today is emotional. So please know when we open up ourselves and we let the tears flow, we're allowing others to do the same. We need more safe spaces to cry and be emotional. So thank you for that beautiful moment. If anything that has been said so far has resonated with you, please let us know in the chat. Like I said, let your authors know, hey, I heard what you said. Oh, I felt that resonated, because you know what? The stories matter. The messages matter. And your interaction with the authors matter too, just to let you know. So we're going to move forward to our chapter 6 author, all the way from Puerto Rico. Y'all, we're international here, okay? That's how we do it. We're worldwide. So Al Marie, can you please come up and let us know what can we look forward to when we read your chapter?
So first of all, I did it. I can't believe we all did it. This is such an emotional moment for me. In the chapter, what we still get wrong about autoimmunity. I just when I spoke to John, in was it like June, or it was in 2024, the summer of 2024. I actually never expected to include this in the podcast. It just came out organically. I said, when I was handed the diagnosis of autoimmunity, I knew that God was calling me to a higher purpose. And in the back of my mind, like, I always wanted to, like, share my story. I just didn't know how. And I felt like the podcast was just like the beginning. And even as I was going through, I share in the chapter, I share about burnout and autoimmunity, but I also talk about my experience, working, in the bio, I talk about having worked in a commercial gym, becoming an EMT. So I feel like I get a well-rounded view of autoimmunity, and I just feel like this is misunderstood. And it upsets me that many people are not screened properly for autoimmunity. And I just feel like, it's hard to, it was hard throughout the years, just having this vision, and at the same time knowing that I still needed to work on my health, and I still do. But, like, especially with nervous system support, and I've done all sorts of coaching and everything, so I just wanted to make healthcare, I just had this vision that I wanted, number one, to share my story, and number two, to make healthcare more accessible. The type of care that I got exquisite care. So I wanted more people to have access to this, even people with limited funds and resources, to have this perspective that that, number one, it takes time to heal, and number two, there's so many modalities that can even complement conventional medicine. But I just saw a gap in care. So for a while I had this vision. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but that's what drove me through the hard days, and the days like, why am I doing this? Like, I just don't, I just saw I guess, bottom line, I just saw a photo of myself, just like in the bio, like smiling and thriving. And I knew I had a powerful message. So that's what mostly got me going. And I'm just thrilled and excited to be, and honored to be in this anthology with all of you. So I thank you.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yes, we did. Marie, thank you. And I think it's such a pleasure to be a co-author in this book with you. I think all of us feel that way. Autoimmunity is something that many don't know about. And in healthcare, you don't really hear about it much. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading that chapter, because it's something that I struggle with. All right, we're going to keep the ball rolling. So unfortunately, our chapter 7 author is not here with us today, Miss Paige Brown, but we want to honor her. We want to thank her for her contribution. And I want to encourage you to open up the book and read her chapter, and then make sure that you connect with her and let her know how much you enjoyed it. Can we do that? I think that's simple, right? That's how we can honor her since she's not here. But our chapter 8 author is someone really special. This is the mastermind that is paired with our good friend John Emery, okay? Because behind every successful man is a strong, God-fearing woman, okay? Just in case you didn't know. And so, Giselle Quintanilla, I would love for you to come up and let us know what can we look forward to reading in your chapter.
Oh, thank you. You know what's so funny is I was like, who's chapter 8? And I opened it up. That's me, everybody. So my chapter 8, when God removes the check marks, right? I think that I'm not anybody who's I'm pretty open and transparent about my journey, the things that I go through. But there are certain things that I share and certain things that I don't share. And I think that I think Tara made it. She did such a great job of talking about how life is always going on, and so sometimes we see each other on the surface and we see each other on screens, or we talk, and it's like you're doing amazing, but you don't know the battle that's behind the scene, right? You don't know what's going on. And so a lot of times we feel like we have these check marks that we have to meet, but also God is there going, I got it. Right? I got you in every area. And so my chapter, my heart was really to share about the things that people don't know that I've been through, and how it was really God who brought me through it. Like I don't know how I did it before that. Well, I do. I was a mess. But you know, I think that just doing life is always going to be hard. It doesn't matter what you do. If you live long enough, you're going to go through something. You're going to go through hell. But if you do it with God, there is a good type of suffering and overcoming, because you're not doing it by yourself. And then he brings people alongside you who do it with you. And I'm grateful for this community. And I'm extra grateful, of course, for John, because I love him so much. But also, he understands that people's journeys matter, and that we're not the only ones going through the journey. And I think that this is so special in that everybody here understands that. And I refuse to cry because I have makeup on and I look cute today. So, but I'm just grateful for all of you. I'm grateful. This experience has been amazing. This has been so special, and I love you all so much.
Thank you, Giselle. Thank you so much. We're so glad that you have a chapter in this book and that God gave you the courage to share. I think, I don't know about you all, but sharing your story, your personal story, can be an intimidating thing. It takes strength, it takes vulnerability. And when you take that step, it's almost like you're ripping the Band-Aid off of a wound to heal. It's healing. So for those watching, for those of you who have not had the opportunity to become an author or even just share your story yet, I want to encourage you to do so, because there's someone out there that needs to hear from you. Simple as that. So moving on to our chapter 9 author. Do we have a Debbie Simmons here today? Is Debbie here with us today? Let's see. I don't see Debbie with us. No, but Debbie, we honor you. We thank you for your contribution, and we look forward to checking out your chapter. But we do have our chapter 10 author here, Mr. Christopher J. Wesley. I would love for you to come up and just give us you gave us a little taste earlier, okay? But what can we look forward to when we read your chapter?
Okay, so picture this. I'm 12 years old, and I'm sitting on my twin bed in my room one afternoon, and I'm considering how 2 years prior, at the age of 10, the courts took me out of my father's house and put me in my mother's house. And I was so messed up at that point. Like, I would not leave the house except when I had to. Like, you have to go to school, you have to go to church, you have to do these things. And basically, I had to get pulled out of the house to do anything. And with no role models, with no real idea of like how to be in the world other than to be abusive psychologically and physically, emotionally. I asked the most important question I feel I ever answered. And it basically, God gave me this question because it didn't come from any place on earth that, well, it didn't come from anybody in my life. And that question was, what would my character be if I had grown up in a loving and supporting environment? That became my model. And that is the work that I do with other people, but ultimately it is the work that I still continue to do in myself. And that is understanding, being able to recognize the survival patterns that I had to develop to live in the world and to survive the environment that I was in, and to understand which parts of those survival patterns are still relevant and which ones I've outgrown because either through perspective or circumstance, I've grown out of them. And my chapter is the first instance that I can point to in my past where I looked at the survival patterns that that were open to me and recognizing the person I wanted to become based on how I answered that question. Who would I be? What would my character be? What decisions would I make if I had grown up in a loving and supportive environment?
Wow. Ooh, did you guys feel that? Did you feel the power in that? There's so much power in each story that we've heard. If any of this has resonated with you so far, I want you to drop the word impact in the chat. Let people know that this has impacted you, that each author that has shared a tidbit of what they wrote about in their chapter has impacted you so far, and it's inspiring you to keep pressing forward because that's what this is all about. Thank you. Thank you so much, Christopher. We appreciate that. We are looking forward to reading more about your journey, how you've made it through. And I just want to say thank you to all of our authors so far who have just given us a little taste of what to look forward to. So, what we're going to do is a little quick segue. Is that okay? Can we switch it up just a bit? Because we want to, we want to give it to you in doses, just a
Yeah.
little bit at a time. We're gonna switch it up a bit. And I don't know about you, but I personally want to hear from the genius behind this anthology because we asked them a couple questions at the beginning, but I have a couple more questions on my heart. And I want to hear from John Emery a bit more because do you guys see what's happening with this? And this is not just an ordinary book, okay? This is not an ordinary book. So, John, I hope that you're seeing and feeling the impact of your idea and you putting it together and executing and just how powerful this is. So, John, I want to welcome you up. Y'all get ready for a wonderful Q&A from the man with the plan, Mr. John Emery. John, what are you thinking right now? Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. I'm getting emotional just hearing what everybody has to share, how much they are opening up and how much emotions they're sharing. Um, and that's the pleasure of a Zoom call or, meeting people in person, and we're able to feel that. So I'm receiving everything somebody's saying, somebody's sharing what they're feeling. Um, yeah, I'm overwhelmed with the gratitude for everything that's going on here. I know everybody here is kind of opening up themselves, but I don't know how much they know that they're going to open up and help so many other people with what they're sharing in the book, what they're sharing right now in front of each other, what they shared on the podcast. And so I encourage everybody here just to keep going forward, keep sharing whatever they're sharing now, and even go deeper if they want to. Because as you mentioned before, Brittany, it was, you didn't say this word, but it's kind of therapeutic for yourself. And I get that when people come on, they share their journey with me on the podcast. Sometimes they'll say stuff they never told anybody before. And Stacy, it's not because I'm a journey whisperer. It's just for whatever reason they just decide to open up. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'm grateful and I'm overwhelmed with emotions right now.
Thank you, John. Can we show John some love, please? Drop some hearts for John right now, because this is big. I think this is a life's check mark for him right now. And I want to make sure that we definitely honor that. So, John, my first question for you is for those that may just have heard about life's check mark, may have never heard about it before, why did you decide to create this? What was that about?
Yeah, so like Emilia kind of mentioned, podcast saved my life, and I did not know at that time I was going to create a podcast a year and a half later. And I just wanted to see how other people navigated through something in their life, right? Um, in my eyes, I feel like a lot of you guys have gone through something. I don't know if I could have gone through it, right? I don't know. I'm not in that journey with you guys. So it allowed that space for somebody to come on, open up. And again, it's hopefully to reach that one person so they know they're not alone and they can get through it too. Because we all go through basically the same thing sometimes, right? Yours might match somebody else's. We just feel like that we're alone and we can't reach out because, society kind of tells us like, you should feel ashamed for yourself. You shouldn't open up, share your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. And the platform, the podcast is just that. And this book just allowed you guys to share so much more at a deeper level.
Hmm. Well said. Thank you. So you mentioned that the podcast saved your life. Can you speak to that and what this platform has meant to you personally?
So the podcast that I listened to that saved my life is it's called Dad's Edge. It's still out there today, as far as I know. I don't listen to it anymore, but it was built for men. And for whatever reason, I tuned into it years after not listening to it. Around the time that, I don't know what things were going on at home with my marriage at the time. And I connected with men. One of them has a quote in here in the beginning. So I connected with 4 or 5 men and never met them in person yet today. But they allowed me that space to open up and share my thoughts, my feelings, everything going on in my head, everything going on around me to feel better, feel at ease, because they've gone down that path or they were going down that path. And for whatever reason, I was able to be receptive and have them bounce things off of me too for what they were going through. Um, that not knowing that 10 men commit suicide every day from divorce, not saying it was exactly at that time. Not that I want to say I had suicide ideation, but who knows? I have no idea, right? So this community allowed me to have a space to share. And that allowed me to be okay when that time came up and the word was mentioned to me and I was willing to accept it. So that's how the podcast saved my life that I listen to. And I pray that this book saves multiple lives in more ways than one. And so that's why I encouraging you guys to just keep run with this, take it wherever you can take it and share with whoever you can share with.
Ah, John, we're so blessed to have you. Thank you. When you initially came up with this idea of this anthology, what was your vision behind it? And did you expect for it to go as well as it's gone?
No, I did. My vision was first to bring guests together. So I always was like, hey, how do I bring my guests together? Because they're great people. And I thought like a retreat. And I shared this with many people on here now. But there was no like connection besides, hey, I've been on podcast. So what are you going to talk about for 2 or 3 days if you did a retreat? And so that's like I mentioned when I ran into Emilio was part of his book and I saw something there. I just mixed the podcast with a book. So that was the reason I created the uh, the anthology. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question there?
Did you expect for it to have this type of
Oh,
impact?
expect. Yeah, I didn't. So Kara was the first one to say yes, and I'm like, okay, now I got to go with it, right? And so then things just start snowballing from there, and people just start, picking up. Some of you guys weren't even on the podcast yet, and you said, okay, I want to be part of the book. I'm going to be on the podcast too, and it was open up to everybody that was a guest, and people that weren't a guest, and now they're able to share everything. So I'm so grateful that we were able to get 20 co-authors in here, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I really am.
I am too. I feel it's going to be big just based on what I've even seen today. And it's one of those reminders that when you take action and you execute, you just don't know how good it's going to get on that other side. So I hope that everyone that's watching, that's tuning in on YouTube, or authors, that you feel inspired to live out your dreams. If there's something you've been thinking about, something that's been on your heart, do it, because this is what could just happen. This movement right here. So, John, when readers pick up this anthology, your book, what do you want them to experience when they read the chapters?
I want them to experience what each individual here, the co-authors, have written, and find something that relates to them, whether it was past or now, and that they can go ahead and agree with whatever in the book that they wrote, but then also dive into the podcast. So there's a QR code. They can go ahead and watch and listen to the podcast episode. Each person here, the co-authors, has a landing page with their information. So now people can not just have to type in their email address from the book, but they can go on there and they can click it, right? So I encourage whoever's reading this to reach out to the one co-author that, hits them the most. And I'm just going to say, if it's not that, if there's nothing here that you resonates with you or whatever, give it to the book that it's going to resonate with, or give the book to the person, right? Or have them listen to the podcast episode, because I think that's where this is going to go. It's going to make it so much bigger. We're going to make a ripple effect from here. And that's what I encourage people to do when they open up this book, that they just hand it off or buy one for somebody else, or share the podcast episode, and just allow this to spread across the world. That's where I want to go with this. Make it so much bigger. It's becoming a movement. I know I've gotten that word thrown at me a couple times. We'll see where the movement goes.
Yes, hashtag movement. I feel it, John. I feel it. I guess you know how you wear that cool hoodie? I think you're going to need to drop that in the chat at some point for us so we can get us one if this is going to be a movement. Let us represent well, John. So if you haven't done it yet, there's a little fire for you to get started.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And while we talk about movement, I'm just curious to know, for myself and for everyone tuning in, when you think about this vision of life's checkmark, the movement, what do you see, John? Can you give us a little taste of what you're thinking, what you're feeling God may do in your life with this?
You want to know where this is going?
Yeah.
Oh yeah? Well, you're pressing me pretty hard here. So first of all, this is a book of many. I feel that many new guests coming, other previous guests coming on. So it's just the beginning of that, and you guys are the first, right? So get ready for a ride. We will do a virtual summit. I'm aiming towards September, October, somewhere around there, maybe. We'll talk more about that, where you guys can share more, longer segments and stuff, outside of that, I want to create a stage, which would be something totally different, so that, things are being talked about and worked on in the background for next year, hopefully, where people can have the opportunity to speak, whether they spoke before or they never spoke at all, but they get in a room where other people need to hear it, right? And so, I'm in rooms where it's all entrepreneurs, business people, and people need to hear stories. But I also want to create a space where people that need to hear it can get in this room and need to listen to what you have to share, and not expect sometimes a business exchange, but to allow themselves to grow as a person and walk out of that room with some life-changing advice, and see what happens there. So that's the avenue I want to take this. Um, we'll see what that looks like. But now that you ripped it out of me, I have to do something.
I mean, you do, John. It doesn't stop here. We got to keep the ball rolling. Like, there's momentum going right now. And I something else was put on my heart, John, because I don't know about you, but I come across people that have a story to share. They're not quite sure how to get it out there. You do have a podcast. So my first question is, John, how can those that are not familiar with you, Life's Checkmark, where can they find your podcast at? Because I don't think we've plugged that in yet, but just to give them the opportunity to check it out, because I think that we're going to inspire people to start sharing their story. So where can we find you at, John, in your podcast? What platforms?
Yeah, so it's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Uh, I saw it pop up on Amazon today when I was looking at the book. So it's there. There's a QR code in the book where they could just go ahead and subscribe and just start listening to all the co-authors here and see where it goes from there. They can also reach out to me. They can go to lifescheckmark.com where I share how to start a podcast, right? Because this is what's happened for me, creating a space, and I'm one podcaster. So if I can create other podcasts, for other people that want to start a podcast, and they can get other guests on that I can't even touch or I can't take because I can only take so many. But if we can create that community too, then we can make much more of an impact. And so for me, it's all about encouraging, inspiring, not just the stories here, but also the podcaster itself, because a lot of people fall off. So that's another space that I really love and enjoy. So yeah, so lifescheckmark.com and check out the podcast as well.
Perfect. And then last but not least, John, for those that are on the fence about writing a book, do you have any words of encouragement for them? Because I know this wasn't an easy task. Like a lot of people talk about it and then it never happens. What can you tell those that want to do it and have not yet done it?
Yeah, about writing a book. So I never wrote my own book yet. I'm sure that's coming, but I've written chapters, right? And for me, it was the first one was, do you want to be part of this book? And I just said yes. So you have to take the opportunities when they come, whether it's going to be good or bad. You don't know the outcome yet, but you just know that you can try something new and go beyond your comfort zone and just see what that looks like, right? And so you're sitting here as the MC. I know you've done it before, but you went outside your comfort zone to do something totally different. And, you know, I would say everybody here agrees they see you've grown as well. So it's not just me, but we're all growing together. And writing a book or even just a chapter, it could be challenging because you're like, I've never written this before. I even thought too when I was writing a chapter, I'm like, what am I going to write? Right? There's so much going on in my life. Emilio, I wrote something for you for your book and I deleted it and started all over again, right? It's just how things go. But if you want to take it at one step at a time, you can write a couple sentences a day, and then eventually it's going to be written. Instead of sit down and cramming it all in. And then I would say, if you needed help, you can, like Giselle, I know she helps people as well with coaching and everything like that, but or just talk to a friend that has done it before and just ask them for advice. It's just getting that help to push you along the way. And I think there's a few people that mentioned that they had that one person next to them that encouraged them, just do it. Right. And so here we are. We taking the risk, the opportunity to see what the outcome's going to be.
Thank you so much, Don. Did you guys enjoy that? If you enjoyed that, I want you to just hold your book up one more time just so John can see the masterpiece that he put together for us. Thank you, John. We appreciate you. We honor you. And we're just so glad that you took the idea to not only give us the opportunity and platform to be on your podcast, but for us to put it in words. So thank you, John, for that. We are going to get back into our authors, but I have to say this before we move on to our next author. If you haven't had the opportunity to download the ebook, guess what? It is currently out there for 99 cents. Please share the link with your family, your friends, buy a couple copies yourself, gift them. You never know, but it's out there, it's available. So I just want to remind you of that. Are we ready to get into our next featured author? If we're ready, I need you to drop ready in the chat. Come on, y'all. Let's keep this going. Let's drop ready in the chat. I see it. Kara says she's ready. Andrew's ready. Tara's ready. Christopher's ready. Emilio. Okay. I feel the energy. Our next author. Let me make, oh, she's here. I see her. I just had to check. Our next author is Miss Stacy N. Jones. Stacy, it's so good to see you. Can you please let us know what can we expect to read when we open up your chapter?
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. And I'm so happy I have my book. Had the pleasure of meeting John and Giselle and Emilio and Daniela over the weekend. And I was given my box personally. And I looked at John and said, this is the best, worst gift ever. Because it was the best gift because I knew what was inside, but it was the worst because I had to wait 7 more days to open it. So, but I'm so happy I had a chance to open it today. You know, with my chapter, I was on John's podcast, and my podcast is kind of the middle of my story. I've suffered 3 strokes since April of 2022. And so we kind of just talked about my stroke and, the middle of my life. And similar to Kara, I believe my chapter is more my origin story and how my story is truly what is aligned in me. And I don't have long because I'm having tech issues and whatnot. I don't want to fizz out. But I would like people to take away after reading my chapter that it's never too late to return to what is put on your heart by the man of God. I'm a woman of faith, and I truly believe that there is a mission, there is a purpose that is given to each and every one of us. And no matter if it takes you 44 years and 3 strokes to get there, you can still get there. And that is what my chapter is about. So I hope it does inspire someone to just keep going, because what was put on your heart, it's never too late to realize that. Everything is done with the purpose, and it's all about divine timing, not ours. So.
Woo, Stacy, thank you so much. I just have to say this. Stacy, I'm so glad that God kept you. I'm so glad that God kept you. You said 3 strokes? Did you say 3?
Yes. Yeah.
That goes back to miracles. They do exist. They do exist. Can't wait to read more of your chapters, Stacy. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate with us today. We are going to honor our next author. She is amazing. I don't know if you've had her delicious treats, but this girl does her thing in the kitchen. That is a shameless plug. So if you don't know her, now you do. I want to bring up Daniela Roman. Please, Daniela, let us know, what can we expect? What's your biggest takeaway from the chapter that you wrote?
Thank you, Brittany, and thank you, Jonathan, for this opportunity. So grief. Grief is done in stages, right? It's different for all of us. So losing my dad 3 years ago was the toughest thing I ever had to deal with. So everyone sees, like they mentioned a couple times here today, everyone sees, the outside, right? Like a lot of you see I'm with Emilio and at events and online and supporting and this and that. But, in the last 3 years, what you see is just that, the outside. Like I was suffering inside. It took me over 2 years to literally accept that my dad was gone. And, he made an impact. I think all of us, we want to leave a legacy in this world. And that doesn't mean that we have to be, a millionaire to leave a legacy, right? Or world famous to leave a legacy. He impacted my brother and I and everyone he knew, everyone. He made an impact because of how he lived his life. He always wanted to do the right thing, and his family was everything to him. And he taught us so much so that I had to write about it. I had to do a book, Big Bear Wisdoms, to honor him. And, this is what I believe. It's more important what we leave in our kids than what we leave to them. because we can leave money, cars, houses, whatever, and that will come and go, I promise you. But when you instill in your kids faith and a strong work ethic and respect and, you know, things like that, they have the tools to get all those things on their own. You have to serve people and make an impact. And, you know, like I said, my dad, he was a simple guy, came from Italy, 14 years old, built a life here, built a family. And, you know, he served everyone that knew him, family, friends, you name it. Anyone that talks about my dad will say, wow, I remember him. He helped this, he did this, he ran for everybody, his parents. So that's an impact. You know, again, he wasn't world famous. He didn't leave us millions of dollars, but what he left was a legacy. And that is, you know, what I think we all want to leave on this world in some kind of way, is serving people. So what I shared in here is, you know, about in the chapter about how I dealt with his loss, but still honoring him.
Thank you so much, Ella. Thank you. Sending big hugs to you. Grief is tough. That's all I'll say. Grief is tough. All right, moving forward to our next author. I like this guy. He has a great personality. I think he knows who he is already. His name is Gordon Bradecki. Gordon, it was such a pleasure connecting with you a while back, and I'm just excited to hear what your biggest takeaway is from your chapter.
John was talking earlier about saving somebody's life. This book could save one person's life. I, I also think that there's a lot of people that are alive that live their whole lives dead inside. And they have a hard time even seeing it that they're dead inside. And what my chapter is about is building confidence and how we're not born with it. It's something that we lean into. So I want to do something a little fun. I want to just change the state a little bit. I want everybody turn their mic on so that we can do this real quick and face the camera and have the camera on.
Right.
I want we to do a little silly thing right now. We're going to go do that. We'll do something. Okay, we're going to make funny faces and we're going to go and make noises and then do whatever crazy thing you're doing. You ready? On the count of 3, 2, 1. So why did I do that? Why did I do that? I did that because sometimes we're so stuck in here that we're focused on everything out there, right? We're looking at them. Are they looking at me? Are they making fun of me? Are they laughing at me? And we're not, when we do that, we can't really sit there and serve others like we're supposed to. When we make it about somebody else, when I sat there and opened that up, the state change, you weren't thinking about anything else. You were just having fun with it. And sometimes we take ourselves too seriously. And then that's what we get stuck at. And in my chapter, I talk about when I was younger. And I'll read something real quick for you. That's why I speak. That's why I coach, because somewhere out there, there's a kid who got laughed at, an adult who thinks they're wired wrong, someone chasing highs that is draining them. They don't need a dramatic overhaul. They need one small shift, another one, and then another one. Confidence is built, not born, and it's built through habits and repeat when no one is watching. So, what are you doing right now that can better your life when no one is watching? I want you to think of one thing that you could do when no one's watching. That's what I want somebody to take away. Because we have a nervous system that is wired from a young age that we bring into adulthood, and all we are is a bunch of adult kids. And if we could change that one little thing, we could all become a better person, and then not just for ourselves, but for other people too. That's what I want to leave you with.
Wow. Thank you for that, Gordon. How do we feel after that little activation? Wasn't that fun? Thank you, Gordon. We appreciate it. Yes, yes, yes. Let's keep that energy going because this next author is going to bring the energy with such an empowering word. Tish, Miss Sweet Tish, would you please come up to the stage and let us know what is your biggest takeaway from your chapter?
The biggest takeaway is the power of choice. So what does that mean? July 13th, 1993, 7:30 a.m., corner of Quince and Ridgeway, Memphis, Tennessee. I saw the brilliant, bright, blinding white light. And the reason why I'm still here is that it all began with a choice. And I chose to live. And looking back, I understand that survival was not the miracle. Transformation was. God's whisper to stay and my choice to live was not for me to just simply to exist. I was given a second chance at life to live with purpose. And when you have pain that becomes a part of your testimony, the scars also become a reminder of resilience. And that struggle shapes your strength. And again, I'm still here because of the power of choice. That person that pushes you off the ledge to that call to action for me was Emilio Roman. 30 years after what you'll read about in my chapter, 30 years later, that man was always in my face on Facebook, always in my feed, always just a pain in the butt. And I went, oh, okay. He thinks that my story resonate with others. And it reminded me that God's whisper to stay and my choice to live was not simply just to exist. I am still here because of the power of choice and because of John Emery, my Power of Choice movement, and because of John Emery, my niece and great niece, we have It's a Family Affair show. And just think about this. I'll end with this. Winning at life happens one small choice at a time.
Can we drop some fire in the chat for that, Tish? Thank you for leaving us with that. The power of choice. I can't wait. That's a good one. Thank you so much, Tish. We can't wait to crack open the book and read your chapter. We are going to piggyback with another one. Tish, did you want to introduce this person that's connected to you and your story and your legacy?
Ooh.
Right?
Take a deep breath. It's a family affair, and it's also a family affair of someone who was considered a black sheep in the family. And she made choices, but she also made the right choice with God's guidance. I'm introducing one of my favorite people, and I'm her biggest cheerleader, Lindsay Stodell.
Well, thank you so much, Aunt Tish. I was not expecting to tear up and cry when I started to speak. So I appreciate that. My chapter, I want people to know that your breaking point is not the end of your life. It's the beginning of your purpose. My chapter isn't simply about surviving a suicide attempt, an abusive relationship, divorce, trauma, or even physical injury. It's about what happened afterwards. It's about discovering that even in my darkest moments, my life still had value and my story still had work to do. The lesson I think the readers will walk away with is that healing doesn't begin when the pain disappears. Because if that's the case, I would never heal. My pain has never disappeared. Healing begins when you decide that your pain will no longer define your future. The heart of my chapter is that survival is not weakness, It's courage. It's asking for help is not a failure. It's strength. That your past does not disqualify you from your future, and that experiences that nearly broke you can become the very thing that helps someone else survive. In many ways, my chapter answers the question, what do you do when everything falls apart? And I'll leave you with my answer. You rebuild. You rebuild not into who you were before, but into who you were meant to become.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you. You rebuild. We don't give up. We get ourselves back up and we rebuild. Thank you for leaving us with that. Y'all, how I mean, we're getting down to the end of this. We have a couple more chapters. Do you feel the power? Do you feel the magic that is happening here with the stories? It's a beautiful experience, and it's just such a blessing to be a part of it. If you have if you've experienced something or you're going to walk away from this call with a token, I want you to leave it in the chat. What's that takeaway? We've heard so many amazing stories so far. What's one takeaway that you are going to walk away with that you can share with someone else today? Because remember, it's all about planting the seeds. And we got to keep planting the seeds. This is our first way of doing it. But the next step is getting out there, sharing the book with others, sharing your story with others, and letting them know that you overcame. My time is up. Let me turn that off. But we're going to go ahead and keep this ball running. Okay, so we have our chapter 16 author. If you're ready for chapter 16 author, please come on. I need you to drop some fire emojis. Let me see them because we're getting down to the end of this and we want to hype them up. We got Cassidy. Do we have Cassidy here? Did I do that for no reason?
She's not here, Brittany.
Darn it, Cassidy. Look, I did all of that excitement for you. I was ready to bring her up. Cassidy, we're here with you in spirit. We thank you for your contribution. We know that you would give us a good word today. So we're going to move on to our next author, which I see is here. Sean, how are you today? How are you feeling? What can we take away from your book, your chapter today? Uh-oh. We can't hear you, Sean. I think we got a sound. We want to hear you. Just know that. We just can't. Oh, and Sean, if you think you'll need a second, just give me a hand and we'll come back to you.
Can you hear me now? Are we good?
There we go. Okay, Sean, don't play with us like that now. You got us all hyped up, and I was like, no.
All right. Well, my apologies. I'd like to say it's just really, really special to be a part of this, and I'd like to thank John and for all the other authors to really put their stories themselves out there this way and to come together. I was on John's podcast twice, I think pretty early on in my journey, and I've been looking at it was episode 31 was my first time there, and I think pretty early in that journey for John as well. We had a lot of good conversations about some similarities, what we were going through, and coming through some dominant masculine environments with firefighting and construction. My own story, I let it drive a lot of my lifestyle, a lot of my choices, and a lot of how I felt about certain things and how I was to carry myself. So at that point, it was kind of a peak position for me, having written my own book about that journey. And to be honest, when I got invited or when I saw a lot of the posts on Facebook about this opportunity, I just didn't feel qualified anymore. I felt like I let life get busy. I was still holding on to the things and choices I had made, but do I still have value to add to a project like this? Do I still have, a bit of what I was in that peak position when we spoke those two times early on? Um, and it really led me to joining this project quite late. I started to process where I was at, what I had going on, just busy with my kids and trying to be present for them. And, you know, uh, I really felt like it was important for me to show up and to write about what I was doing that still was aligned with where I was the 2 years ago or when we first spoke, and then and just really process what I was doing to stay that path, and to the title of my chapter, staying on that path, recognizing where we came from, recognizing what brought us to this point, and then just continuing to push forward in whatever capacity we can.
Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate that. Oh, staying on that path. Oh, that's a tough one sometimes. There's always something trying to derail you. Would you guys agree with that? It's always something trying to throw us off. Okay, our next author, I wasn't even sure if she was going to still be here. I had to just double check and make sure because she told us she was only going to give us 30 minutes, but she's still here all the way from, did you say England?
Yes, I'm afraid I did.
Oh my goodness, Penny. Penny, we're so glad to have you. Penny, what can we expect from your chapter? What do you have to share with the readers?
Well, we're all the products of nurture and nature. And nurture is something that carries us through sometimes to the rest of our lives. Sometimes it doesn't go quite the way we would want it to go. And when I was a little girl, I overheard my parents talking to another school friend's parents saying, our daughter's never going to be any good either. We don't have any expectations. And it struck me as, you know, they really didn't think I was going to go anywhere. I was expected to marry a rich farmer and lead a very, very normal life for a little country girl from England. And I went through my college years and somebody said, oh, I think you might pursue a career in journalism. And I thought, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. But then I had my first job, and I'm afraid it was fairly sort of simple. It was music publishing, and I was a shorthand typist to the secretary. And I was only there 3 months and I was fired. And I thought, this is reinforcement. I really am not going to get anywhere. But, you know, my grandmother gave me a little plaque and it said, the only failure is to give up trying. And that resonated with me. It kind of broke the spell. And so my life was never really planned, my working life. And I went through various crises, which I term crossroads, because it depends on the fork in the road you take. And my chapter is all about those choices and how, because I was fired after only 3 months from my first job at 18, I wanted to put some kind of warmth and heart in everything I did. And so if there's one takeaway, it's thank you, John, thank you, Giselle, and thank you, Brittany, and everyone, because this anthology gives me the opportunity to balance 2 very heavy non-fiction business books with something that is heart-centered. And I hope anybody who feels that they're a failure or they're not making the progress they should be making in their careers, you can do it. You just visualize it and keep going for it, because the only failure is to give up trying.
Woo, okay. Yes, Penny, drop those gems and those nuggets for us. That was beautifully said. Beautifully said. Thank you so much for that. And up next, we have our chapter 19 author. I already saw him come off the mic. Andrew, I think we would all agree. We love your energy. So, can you please share with us what will we take away from your chapter after reading it?
Oh, recovery begins within. And, you know, that's really something that's really big that we talk about in the recovery community. You know, if you and that if you've ever been through some things, is if you want to change the things around you, you have to change the things inside of you. So like if you want to see a reflection in the outside world, then you're going to have to look in the mirror, take a good hard look at that, and you're going to have to start changing what's in here and what's up here, and the rest of that will start to reflect around you. And I talked on the podcast about my struggles with drug addiction and my journey back from that. And the chapter in my book is about my spiritual awakening and the journey that has been for me over the last little over 28 months now. And what I took away from writing this chapter is that was a good point for me to be able to kind of stand and be able to turn around and look behind me and realize just really how much, like how far I had come and how much I had grown in the little over 2 years that it was when I wrote this chapter. There's a picture at work that one of the supervisors has, and it's a picture of this guy on a mountain, and the mountain comes up and there's a flat spot and the guy's standing there, and in one instance of the picture he's looking up at the mountain and he's like, wow, because he's still amazed at how far he has to climb. And then the other side of that picture has him turning around and he's looking down the mountain and he's like, wow, because he's amazed at how far he's come. And when I wrote this chapter, that was one of those instances for me, was I was able to turn around behind me and be like, wow, Andrew, like, look how far you've come. Look how far, God has brought you in this path. And so it was really like, for a few days, for about a week after that, like I was just really in deep reflection. And I was just like, wow, there is, because a lot of times we're always looking ahead at all the things that we have to do or the things that we need to do and stuff, and don't really take the time to turn around and enjoy and to celebrate just how far we've come in our journeys. And so that's what the biggest takeaway was for me on writing this chapter. And you're watching the podcast, you're going to get one side of me, and reading this chapter in the book, you're going to get a completely different side. I mean, they do link together and tie in very well, because when you get into recovery, or when you go through those things and you make it out the other side, there is some kind of spiritual awakening and things that come with that. So that's what mine was. And I think that's about it, because I'm about out of time anyway. So
Thank you, Andrew. We appreciate it. We do. We're excited and glad that you contributed, and look forward to hearing your story on recovery, because as we know, I'm sure we all know someone that is struggling with an addiction, and those that overcome, it's such a blessing. And so we want to use those stories to inspire our good friends out there that need to hear a word about recovery. So thank you for that. Now we're down to our last chapter 20. And unfortunately, our author, Dr. Stephanie Johnson, could not be here. So, Dr. Stephanie, we honor you. We thank you. We look forward to reading your words, and we know that your story will inspire someone. Y'all, we've gone through the whole book. Can you believe it? Can y'all believe we've gone through the whole entire book? Can we please give our authors a round of applause? Let me see the applause emojis. Let me see the love. I want to see the books, because wow, what a treat. I don't know of any other book launch where they do that. You usually have to wait to just read it to find out. So, John, I want to ask, after hearing, I mean, I know you have an idea of like what's in the book. What are your thoughts as we get ready to wrap this up and we're coming to the end of this amazing book launch?
My thoughts are just keep running with it. Like I said before, I'm excited. I'm glad this is out. It's available, and everybody here has copies, right? So hand them out, sell them, whatever you guys decide to do. That's up to you. But just know that it's going to hit that one person. I pray that it's your story, but it could be somebody else's, right? And there might be a few in there that might touch that person. Andrew's talking about his spiritual path in there, and other people are talking about their difficulties that they went through, and so they might align. Both stories might align for that one person that's reading this. So I'm excited. Share it to everybody you can. get it out there. Use the podcast episodes too. And let's just make a change. Let's make a difference together. That's what this is all about. There's a good community of people right here in this room, and some that didn't make it and some that had to leave early. You're all amazing people. You guys have touched me in so many ways. I'm forever grateful for everybody here. Sean, you sharing your story there. I don't know where you're at, but man, you come a long way since we last spoke. That's for sure. And so I'm thankful that you were able to share a little bit something there. And so you guys all touch me in so many ways because I don't even know where you come from, right? I don't know what you're going through or what you're going to go through. So I'm glad we're able to connect and have this call right now and shoot this anthology out there.
Yes, thank you, John. Well said. So, everyone, you've heard the story. Oh, did I hear? Did I hear? Sis?
No, I said awesome.
Oh, okay, just making sure. Okay, so everyone, you've heard the stories of faith, courage, perseverance, resilience, impact. We've been reminded that life does not always follow the path that we've expected. Am I right? But even in the unexpected, there can be purpose. There can be healing, there can be growth, and there can be a story that helps someone else keep going. To every author, we thank you. We thank you, thank you, thank you. Without your words, this anthology wouldn't be what it is. To John, we thank you for just being the visionary behind this. You've inspired us to write our own books, believe it or not. I'm sure I'm speaking for many. To our forwarded author, Emilio, thank you for setting the tone for this anthology. To every person that's tuned in on YouTube, our family, our friends, our community, we appreciate you. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for helping us share our stories. And if you haven't gotten your book, your ebook, don't forget you can grab it for 99 cents. Gift someone today. Send it, share it, talk about it, but do not, whatever you do not let this thing right here collect dust. Pass it on. Share the link with your family. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning, everyone. This is just the beginning. I hope that you feel inspired by your co-author stories. I hope that you continue to take action. I pray that you continue to heal. And just remember, life's checkmark, baby, keep checking them off. That's what this is all about. Keep checking them off and keep telling your story. So we thank you for joining us today. If there are any final words anyone would like to say, we have a couple minutes. Make it brief. But I just want to give someone to say any final words to either any of the authors or John, and we can go about enjoying the rest of our Saturday.
I just wanted to say thank you again, Giselle and John, for having me on the podcast and asking me to be a part of this book. I'm blessed. I've said it many, many times. I'm very blessed and, just thankful and grateful for the opportunities. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew.
John, and everyone here, I'm proud of every single one of you. I didn't think I was going to be emotional. But, just to see John from the beginning to now and how he's helped everyone cross over that finish line, it's a sight to see. So God bless you all. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing your powerful message. That's powerful. From dope to hope. You inspired me today.
Thank you, Emilio.
Brittany,
Yes.
I would like to share, and Lindsay was part of this as well. Her daughter, my great niece, she tells the story that between me and her mother, we forced her to become a first-time co-author. And when we finally said, quit using that excuse, what's the reason? And what came out? She wants to help others. God be the glory.
Thank you, Tish. Beautifully said. Thank you. Anyone else?
I just want to say that obviously, Jonathan, Emilio, Giselle, you guys are an inspiration to us, but I hope that after being in this community together, we realize that this book could not exist. This anthology could not exist without us, and that all of us are proud of ourselves and proud of the community we have become a part of.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that, Kara, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, we thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing what goes down from here. And until next time, if the good Lord's willing, we'll be able to write more of our stories and share. You guys stay blessed, keep being amazing, and we'll see you soon. Have a blessed rest of the day.